I'm a stand-up comedian by profession, which means I tell jokes to people. So rarely we make sense. When we make sense, it becomes a controversy. So, so we tend to avoid making sense in our talks and just do jokes. So I am one of the product of this pop culture, I can say, because I'm not here not just as a stand-up comedian, but as a 90s kid to represent my generation here. Like I'm so 90s that only few days back I realized pop culture is the short form of popular culture. I know even Gen Z kids couldn't realize this truth. So, so that is how this Gen Z terms are even more. It's still confusing to us because other day a Gen Z kid looked at me and said, "Let's catch up in IRL." I assumed IRL is some restaurant where we are going to meet. Then we realized IRL is in real life. And I was surprised in real life has become so short that it has become IRL. So even in real life, because this generation, Gen Z, is known to consume things, everything short, like short reels, YouTube shorts, short memes, and even subjects. To prepare this presentation, if I was a college student 12 years back, I would have gone to the library, took some notes, or went to the internet to gather some notes and I would have prepared. But now, it's very easy. I can go to the internet and type, I wanted speech for 30 minutes, mixed with humor and emotion. Please give me, it will give me in 5 minutes. And please don't mistake me just because I'm explaining the process, I have followed the same process. This is my own content. So as I said, as a 90s kid, and people will attribute pop culture references only to today's generation. But have you seen your dad's photo in 80s, 70s with a bell-bottom pant? That is exactly pop culture of those generation. And have you seen even till today, if you go to any interior of Tamil Nadu, in one saloon shop, you will find a photo of Princess Diana. You might be wondering what is Princess Diana doing in a saloon shop in Salem. That's exactly the influence of pop culture of 80s and 70s. See her, she is still able to live in this environment, in today's environment, just because of fashion, trends, and people's consuming pop culture behavior. And when I say 90s generation, people might always think this is very old. This is done and dusted. No, these people will talk about how I went to school those days, how I went to college these days. But it is not only about that. Because when I started like this profession of stand-up comedy, when I told my mother that I'm going to do a professional stand-up comedy, what she immediately did, she invited all her relatives, made them sit in the front row, and told them, my son is going to do some jokes. Please laugh and support him. Don't be silent. He will feel bad. That is how my mother considered this profession. Because as I said, this pop culture behavior is very confusing to me even in today's terms. And the impact on ourselves, it's even more, I will say, a mystery. Because who imagined in 2025 a viral video of two people watching a concert can go viral? A camera shot of two people has created marketing trends of 2025. Every brand wants to catch up on this trend. So what pop culture tells us about ourselves? That we like to spend time on internet 24/7. That we like to recreate things what we see. Because my generation is where people were hesitant to come out or people are hesitant to participate in things. Today I can see the Gen Z or today's generation where grandfather is dancing, grandmother is dancing, mother is shooting the video, and daughter is doing cameo in betweens. So thanks to the pop culture, I can see everything in reels. But reels is not just a form of entertainment. Because those days when somebody wants to achieve in life, he wants to say, I want to have a good job, I want to come up in life, I have to achieve so many things. But today, the terms, because of the pop culture, the terms which all this younger generation will use, I'm not getting likes, I'm not getting followers, I feel depressed, no one is looking at my profile. When I was in 90s generation, I was never depressed just because my teacher was not looking at me. I was even more happy that my teacher is not looking at me in my class. And today's generation is questioning the teacher. Today's students are asking teachers, sir, yesterday I fact-checked whatever you taught me in AI, but it's showing it's wrong. So kindly do your preparation before you come to the class. So that is the advantage of social media world. And as I said, everything is based on likes, shares, and followers. And people don't believe, especially in today's generation, don't believe when some says media will not give you money. Social media will not give you food. Gone are the days when people talk bad about social media. Today, social media is a major source of revenue for a lot of people. And one among them is standing before you. I am a living example. Gone are the days when people say don't waste your time in social media. Today, the good advice people can say is utilize your time properly in social media. Utilize where you can find opportunities. Utilize where you can get revenues. Because those days when I have to go for outing or when I have to meet people, I will get suggestion from my friends or family or people who are like neighboring people or my close circle. Today, if I want to watch a movie or go out, I will take suggestion from unknown random people on the Instagram. My entire decision is based on so-called influencers. Everything I see, the which country I'm going to go, which food I'm going to have, which city I'm going to travel, it is all depending on the influencers who I'm watching. And the term influencers mean it's not just they are telling you what to do, but indirectly they are also influencing your decision making. I am a proper Chennai boy who is known to foods like masala dosa, rava dosa, onion dosa, podi dosa. This is the only food I have learned till now. But today, after this influence of influencers and the variety of food, I can see my friend is asking where can I get Korean foods in Chennai? Where will I go for Korean food? My friend is talking about K-pop, Korean pop songs. Like a few years back when I was in school or college, we will used to talk about the serials which comes in Sun TV. Was a discussion factor. We used to talk about superstar movies and Kamal star movies. This is our talk about. But today people talk about all the products across the world. They consume everything in the world and they want to bring everything to our country, to our place. And have you seen, thanks to the artificial intelligence photo edit options, my friend edits almost 140 different versions of himself. Till today, I don't know the purpose. He will come as a king, he will come as a queen, he will come as a child, he will come with the child. Other day, he has created an imaginary wife and started living with her. Imagine how AI has troubled him, and this pop culture behavior has made him change that he has created artificial intelligence. For some reason, he knows that might not happen in real life. So he is creating an artificial world just to escape this real world. People are willing to live in the fantasy world. Because looking at these photo edits, I was shocked because we come from a generation or we were taught right from school days, never share with anyone your success. Never share about your personal stuffs with anybody. Never share whatever you have within you. Keep it secret until you make it permanent. This is what the lesson I have learned. But today's lesson is, if you go to a shop and buy Arvin milk packet, make sure you post in Instagram. And that video should get minimum 500 likes. Only then you can have a career. So these things are very confusing and I can clearly see the impact of pop culture in our life. As a 90s, I'm sure here some people might be 90s. My only first pop culture references I could see during my school cultural days, there will be my friends who will come with a military jacket and a cooling glass. And he will do a step which nobody has heard of these many days. And that step is called moonwalk. He will do a moonwalk. And most of the times it will be just a casual morning walk. But he will call it as moonwalk. And do you know where this influence came from? It came from that legendary Michael Jackson. Somewhere across the world, that one man broke all the racial barriers. And he proved even the blacks can be successful. Then he broke down all the racial barriers and he proved if music had Michael Jackson, then sports had Michael Jordan. I'm sure some of you should have heard of Michael Jordan and please go and watch Michael Jordan. A guy who was once considered with the height of 5'11", who was once considered too short for NBA, too short for basketball, later went on to become one of the top 5 scorers in the world, one of the top 5 basketball scorers in NBA. How can this legend influence a person in Chennai? I have seen my friends went to basketball academies just because by wearing Jordan's t-shirt. Look at the influence a sportsman can bring on a young minds. If US had Michael Jackson or Jordan, we Indians in 90s had a big star. He was everything for Indians in 90s, and he is called the Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar. Nowhere in the world a country will stop to watch a player playing cricket. When he was at 90s, not just Sachin was in 90s, the entire India felt they were in 90s. All the traffic were in standstill, people at the ropes were waiting, people even in hospitals were looking at the TV screen, whether to see whether Sachin will get 100 or not today. That is the influence of Sachin. And looking at Sachin, so many youngsters joined cricket academies with the hope of becoming next Sachin. And I thought it is just a lie or just a myth that next Sachin is not going to come. But believe me, the one such boy was Virat Kohli. He joined cricket academy thinking he was going to become the next Sachin, and few years later, you know what happened. Rest is history. But considering all these things, does pop culture has only all the good things to talk about? It doesn't have any negative things? Or do you think pop culture doesn't have any cons? No, you are very wrong. Pop culture, somewhere down the line, might dilute your individual beliefs and systems. Looking at the outside world, real world, you will tend to believe whatever the common people do, whatever majority of public do, it's what something I have to do in my life. This is belief you can easily get. Because right now, at an age where when even a 10 minutes talk looks like 1 hour, it's very difficult for people to actually listen to a 1 hour's talk. This is what happened because since we are consuming everything in social media in a short span of time, we actually consume lot of unnecessary things. Today in social media, because of influence of common public influences, we only look at what happened in that sports person's life, what happened in this actor's life, what happened in this movie. But we never bothered how a sportsman is created, what are the techniques he is doing when he is playing, how an actor is acting in a particular scene, how he is preparing himself for the scene. These are the things we are missing out in today's generation. And thanks to artificial intelligence and everything in our hand, we tend to believe we know everything. Because gone are the days when we were waiting to get some inputs from teachers so that we can improve ourselves. And today is the day when teachers are looking out for students to get some informations from them. Because today books don't teach much, only online medium teaches much. And considering all these things, does pop culture is important? Is it going to change our future? Will it create wonders? Recently, like a few months back, in our neighboring country, a Gen Z kids gathered together. What was supposed to be considered as just a gaming platform? What platform was initially considered just to discuss about games? It was turned as a protest against the democratic process. An entire group of people, especially this younger generation, joined together, discussed the problems, and they shared their anger among each other, and they came out to the streets and changed the entire government. Government fell just because of one discussion which started in a gaming platform. Now you can imagine the impact of pop culture on a democratic process. People thought this is just for entertainment. This is just the time pass. This will fade off. People will get bored. But considering all these things, and especially what happened in our neighboring country, I would say it's high time we embrace pop culture and support it. It's high time we consider pop culture is not only going to impact ourselves, our society. Pop culture in future is going to be a big and good challenge to the democratic process and all the geopolitical tensions across the world. Thank you.